Welcome to the Positive Spiritual Living Podcast, brought to you by Unity on the Bay. This is your positive path for spiritual living.
Thank you, Myra, Dale, Anthony, for that beautiful song. Brings back memories of the 1940 classic. Now, not that I was alive in 1940, don't get me wrong, but the 1940 classic, what? Pinocchio. Walt Disney brought it to life. It was based on the 1883 Italian novel by Carlo Collodi. You remember the story. An elderly wood carver by the name of Geppetto had always longed for a son for as long as he had lived. And as a result, in his later years, he carves a wooden puppet whom he names Pinocchio. And one evening, a blue fairy arrives on the scene and decides to give the puppet life. It's not yet a real boy, but it can move and it can behave very much like a real boy. To Geppetto, it was almost as good as true. Both Geppetto and Pinocchio had a dream that someday this little wooden puppet could become a real boy. And the blue fairy says, well, that is perfectly possible, but you must first prove your own worth, your own bravery, your own truthfulness, and your ability to serve unselfishly. You may recall that throughout the adventure, Pinocchio has this problematic nose, that whenever he tells a lie, whenever he's not in alignment with the reality of who he really is, and he's not speaking from a place of truth, the nose grows, and the nose grows, and the nose grows. Along comes a funny little character, Jiminy Cricket, and he serves as Pinocchio's conscience. That's when the adventure begins. And through all manner of chaos and confusion and challenge and difficulty, Pinocchio finally proves, not so much to anybody else, but to himself, all these faculties that the blue fairy, his own, you could say, higher nature, had been inviting him to recognize. He proves them to himself, that he has the worth, that he has the bravery, that he has the truthful and honest nature, and that he is unselfish in his ability to serve others. Although at the end, he finds himself rescuing his creator or his father figure from the belly of a whale, and it takes his life. It seems the story is ending on that fatalistic note, but it's not so. In fact, the blue fairy returns, not only to bring Pinocchio back to life as a wooden puppet, but actually as a little boy. Now, from a moral perspective, no doubt this story has been written to demonstrate that hard work and conventional values will bring success in your life. But I believe it has a much more powerful spiritual perspective than that. You know, I am celebrating this year 45 years of professional affiliation in the Unity movement. It was 1975 when I began that journey, and 30 years as an ordained Unity minister. And I remember very well when I was 12 years old, sitting in the office of Reverend William B. Cameron, one of my predecessors here at Unity on the Bay, with the assignment given to me of creating a career notebook. And I said to him, Bill, I want to be a Unity minister. I had grown up very close to him, to the church, the Unity Center in Kansas City at that time. And that's what I wanted to be. I knew it with every fiber of my being that I was going to be a Unity minister when I grew up. It was a number of years later that I went through what someone recently referred to as my wayward years. These were years of challenge and difficulty throughout college. I had a very adventurous spirit that got me into trouble a lot of the time. And I found myself needing to prove through those experiences, just like the little wooden puppet Pinocchio, some qualities, my own worth. I found myself proving it to me then, and I find myself on this very day, and all the days since then, proving my worth. Because it is according to my understanding of my worth as a child of God that I am able to bring forth, to manifest dreams, wishes, desires, possibilities into my life. It's all through the quality of imagination, my dear friends. And I want you to take a moment right now, if you would, if you feel so inclined, to just join me in imagining, what is your dream? Everyone has a dream. You say, I have no dreams. You do have dreams. They may have been closeted away. They may have been shelved somewhere gathering dust, but every one of us arrives on this planet with a dream, with the possibility that is always calling to us. And though it may seem distant, the voice, the vision, the dream, the possibility is always and ever still there. So use your imagination with me and ask for this dream that is yours and yours alone to come into greater clarity as you consider, what is your dream for yourself? What is your dream for your own life? Remember, my friends, imagination is never limited by that which is, but always promised by that which can be. There's no limit to it. And all the great experiences and all of the great accomplishments of every man and woman on the planet began at some level on the realm of ideas and in the space of their own imagination. What is your dream for yourself? It's there. Find it, dust it off, bring it into focus. What's your dream for yourself? What are your dreams for those you love, for your family, for your friends, for those near and dear? And finally, what is your dream? And this is most important at this particular time in our human experience. What is your dream for the world? For I assure you of this, dear friend, the world is never anything more or less than that which we together, collectively, have imagined it to be. Our lives are screens upon which our imagination is played out. I've been studying for a number of years the work of a great metaphysician. He was never all that popular, although he touched many lives, and his works are not that well remembered. His name was Neville Goddard. And I want to share with you, as a part of this experience this morning, 4 specific quotations from this great mind and this great author. The first of which is this: to impress the subconscious with the desirable state, you must assume the feeling that would be yours had you already realized your wish. So as you're engaged in this process of imagining what is the dream for your life, what is the dream for your loved ones, what is the dream for this world, recognize that it begins at the level of your feeling nature. And it is possible for you and I to focus ourselves clearly enough on any objective, on any intention, on anything we may be dreaming or imagining, to focus exclusively upon it and begin to take on the feeling that we would be experiencing were we actually tasting, living, breathing, full out in 3D Technicolor, that which we imagine. It's possible to get into the feeling of it. So we begin by focusing, and then we feel, and then through that feeling we begin to become aligned with the divine, that which is our creative power, to bring our dreams, our wishes, all of our desires into complete fulfillment. The next words that Neville shares with us are these: in defining your objective, you must be concerned only with the objective itself. The manner of expression or the difficulties involved are not to be considered by you. To think feelingly on any state impresses it on the subconscious. So let's get this clear. Our business, as my good friend Jim Rosemergy says, is not manifestation. It's not the mechanics. It's not the techniques. It's not the how. It's just to stay focused on the vision. And don't you know that people of great vision have done just that? They have kept themselves in perfect focus with the vision that they were holding, to the degree that it would become a reality and that any seeming impediments or challenges along the way would dissolve in the face of this commitment to their own personal vision. So the manner of expression or the difficulties involved are not to be considered by you. The challenges, the impossibility of the situation, None of your business. Your business is to hold the dream, to focus clearly upon it, and to know that the universe has an amazing way of bringing every necessary resource and opportunity to you that is required for you to be able to accomplish that which your heart desires. The third piece of words that I want to share with you from Neville are these. Therefore, remember, if you dwell on difficulties, barriers, or delay the subconscious, by its very non-selective nature, it accepts the feeling of difficulties and obstacles and proceeds to produce them in your outer world. You see, what you focus on, you experience. So if instead of staying focused on the dream, on the vision, on the possibility, you become preoccupied with the seeming challenges and difficulties that are going to prevent you from its accomplishment, what you are placing your attention on always and ever and must become your living reality. There's no way out of this, my friends. This is a law of the universe. What you think about, what you focus upon becomes your experience. If you're focused solely and completely and directly upon the dream in your heart and not upon the seeming obstacles that are forever trying to prohibit you from the full expression of that, you will receive according to the degree of your focus. And finally, Neville says this, as in heaven, so on earth. As in heaven, so on earth. Now, understand with me this from a metaphysical perspective. Heaven is always the content of your consciousness and the content of your subconsciousness. Neville goes on to say, as in the subconscious, so on earth. As the content is of your own mind and your own heart, so also shall be the experience on earth. Whatever you have in consciousness is the measure of your expression. Whatever you're holding in your mind and heart will be the measure of your expression. Nothing stops you from realizing your objective, save your failure to feel that you already are that which you wish to be, or that you are already in possession of the thing sought. Your subconscious gives form to your desires only when you feel your wish fulfilled. And the only way to become fully engaged in that feeling is to dismiss any seeming impediments, any seeming obstacles, anyone or anything saying you can't, it's impossible. Don't believe that, my friends. Believe instead that God would never plant anything within you that you did not have the ability to bring forth into your day-to-day experience. I opened these comments with some words about a wonderful Disney classic, Pinocchio. You know, I believe that through all the trials and tribulations Pinocchio experienced and his puppeteer, Geppetto, they never lost track of what they wanted. They remembered that what they were seeking was true, fulfilling life. In the very final days of Walt Disney's life, he was hospitalized, suffering from cancer, had just a few breaths left. And when his brother, Roy, walked into the hospital room, he saw Walt laying there on his bed with his finger pointed to the ceiling. And Walt said to Roy, "Look, look, can you see it?" Roy saw nothing, but there was no doubt in his mind that Walt saw very clearly, as he vividly described, a monorail racing around a track, a huge man-made mountain containing a roller coaster within it, lands of amazing imagination. Walt even called his creators Imagineers. And they were no different than you and I. Can we, even as we may take our last breath, be pointing to that dream, to that possibility, and to be fixed on it completely and totally within ourselves. I ask you again, what is your dream? What is your dream? What's your dream for your own life? What's your dream for the lives of those you love? And what's your dream right now, dear friends? It matters so much in the midst of everything we are facing. What is your dream for the world? What can you dream? What can you imagine? And to what degree can you keep your focus placed on that vision, that dream for all humanity and for the world, seeking not to distract yourself with anything that appears to be in the way of that possibility? This is our saving grace, my friends, and it's available to each and every one of us. And once you see it, then I invite you to feel it, to let yourself come alive with it. Let the atoms and cells of your very being and body feel that dream, my friends. Forever it is true. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star, your dream comes true. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and leads you through. When you wish upon a star, your dream comes true. Feel it and never doubt you were born to dream.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Positive Spiritual Living Podcast, brought to you by Unity on the Bay, a spiritual community located in Miami, Florida. Unity on the Bay is supported by the generosity of its community. If you'd like to make a donation or learn more about Unity on the Bay, please visit unityonthebay.org. You can also follow Unity on the Bay on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for even more positive spiritual inspiration. Until next time, thanks for listening and many blessings. Namaste.